Hi everyone, it's Vicky here and welcome back to another Mixed Media Tuesday. As I promised, I will be sharing these type of videos every other Tuesday, and for today I decided to go with a canvas, a mixed media canvas. I like to work on these canvas panels by Arteza. These are nice and sturdy, they are covered with a canvas and they are 8 by 8 inches in size. I find that the size is perfect, especially if you want to work with your 8 by 8 paper pads from your scrapbooking collections. They are the perfect size. And I'm going to show you today a fun way to use your background papers to create a mixed media canvas. Very easy, and you can use whatever you already have at home. So I do have some background papers from the Brocante new Stamperia collection, and this is the background paper pad. I will be choosing two of them that they are contrasting in color. So I went with a light one, which is going to be my main paper where I'm going to create my composition, and then for the background I'm looking for something that is darker, way darker, to create contrast. So pick two pattern papers that they are 8 by 8 in size and they are kind of contrasting from what you have already at home. Then the idea is to cut out one of them, the one that is going to be at the top, to be slightly smaller. So this is 8 by 8, I'm going to cut it out so that it's 7 by 7. And then you can use your glue. It can be a craft glue, a matte media glue, your mixed media glue, whatever you have, to stick the paper down. And if you like at this stage, once you stick the paper down, you can definitely go on top of it to seal it down with your matte media glue. Now I am going to distress the edges a little bit by using a sanding block, and instead of using pattern paper for this step, you can definitely use rice paper if you like. Now I also want to get rid of that white edge since I ended up with a lot of it due to sanding. So I'm going all around with my blending brush and I'm using my dye ink pad. The color that I'm working with is coffee. Now let's work on the other pattern paper, the 7 by 7 one. I'm distressing the edges but just by using the edge of my scissors. This is going to give some movement, some texture on the paper. I don't want this to lay flat on top of the background that we already have. So I'm doing that all around the edges, and then I'm going to create a couple of slits. You can use your scissors and cut them out, and you can curl up the edges. Just because this happens to be the cover of the paper pad, I don't want those letters or that design to show when I curl up the edges. That's why I made sure that it is quite dark at the back. So now either with your fingers or with tweezers, you can curl up those edges to give more interest. I am going to place it on top of my main panel just to see how it looks. I'm super happy with the slits. So let's make this background a little bit more interesting by doing some fun mixed media techniques. Now here I decided to use the rub-ons, and I'm going to pick up some of the designs, just separate them with the scissors so that I can audition them on top of the canvas and decide where I want to place them down. Now the truth is that I would usually go and stick them down at this step before even doing anything with my cluster, deciding where everything is going to go. But I get so many questions about why did you stick that there, or why did you place it there and it was covered up. So I'm just going to follow your suggestions, guys, and I'm not going to cover them up. I'm just going to use them at the end. So at this stage I do separate them because I'm planning to stick them down for this step, but I want to do it so that I don't get the question of why did you cover it up. To tell you the truth, when I am creating, I don't think of the steps ahead of time. I just play with the layer that I am there at that moment. So I'm just having fun with the layer, and if this ends up being covered later on, I don't really care. But anyway, I decided to do some stamping here. I'm using one of the text stamps from my all-time favorite stamp set that I designed. This is the Element stamp set. It was designed, I think, about a couple of years ago, but I keep on using this stamp set again and again. It has all those basic stamps that you need to create your background. So again, I'm going with coffee dye ink. I'm going to stamp this text here and there in some areas just to add some visual texture on the background so that it's not looking so plain. And then there is another stamp that gives you that crackle effect, which I'm going to use again on top. This is great, you don't really need to use crackle paste for that, you just stamp with this one here and there and you are good to go. It gives a really lovely effect, especially if you go tone on tone. It kind of blends in with the background beautifully. You can see that effect here. Now I'm using again the coffee dye ink. I smoothed a little bit of that ink on my glass mat, and with water I am diluting it so that I can create some splatters. Make sure that this step is completely dry before you move on to the next one. One of my go-to steps when I am creating a background is to use stencil with some paste. So here I'm going with my all-time favorite volume paste and a new stencil from this collection. I like the part where you can see the clocks, and this is what I'm going to transfer on my project in a couple of areas. The effect is going to be very subtle at this stage since it is white on ivory or light brown. You can't really tell. It does show in real life and it gives a very subtle texture, but I'm going to show you how you can elevate it and help it come more to life. So I am going to clean up a little bit, and before the paste is dry, I'm going to apply on top embossing powder. I'm going with my copper embossing powder. It has lots of shine and glitter on top of it, and I'm not going to apply it all over the paste, just in a few areas so that I get a mixture of embossing paste and the paste as it is, the white one, copper and white together. I absolutely love the effect. Now the embossing powder is going to stick while the paste is not dry, and then you can go ahead and heat set it with your heat gun. Now another way to bring up that white embossing paste on top of the paper is to apply some dye ink with a brush as if it is a watercolor. So just a wash on one side, and again I went with coffee dye ink that I diluted with water. So I'm not introducing any new colors here. I also spray the paper with water so that it blends nicely and I don't end up with any harsh lines or brush strokes. Now this is not going to color the white areas of the paste, so just with a clean paper towel you can go over it and just remove the excess from the top of that embossing. Now my background is ready. Before I stick it down, I'm going to ink up the edges with black, but only the very tip of the edge. So I just want to create kind of a more contrasting effect, but I'm not going to add that black all the way to the paper. You see, I mainly want to have that only on the very far edge. I do that for the canvas, for the panel as well, and then I'm going to stick one on top of the other. Now to stick them down, you can definitely use your glue, you can use foam tape if you want to add more dimension. I'm going to go with a double-sided tape just because I want to make sure that I will not stick all the edges down completely. I want to have some movement on the edges, and I don't need to add any extra dimension, but you can definitely do that if you like. And once the paper is down, I'm going around the edges to give them some more movement. And you can see how my background is looking at the moment. And now it's time to create our cluster, our composition on top. So for that I went with ephemeras and die cuts from the same collection. The die cuts are not self-adhesive, they are not like stickers, but they are quite thick, they are made out of chipboard. The ephemeras are self-adhesive, you can peel them off at the back and stick them down, but they are cardstock thickness. Still, they are kind of sturdy, so you can definitely work with them on top of a canvas. They are going to give you nice dimension, it's not like paper. I am going to play along with all the elements that I have here and decide how everything is going to go, and then stick them down. For some of the elements I'm going to stick them down with glue, for others I'm going with foam tape at the back. You can bring in your hot glue gun at this stage if you like. It really depends on what types of glue you prefer to play with. Also notice that at this stage, when I have adhesive at the back or I use double-sided tape or foam tape, I don't press the elements too hard down. So I'm just laying one on top of the other, making sure that I like the composition, and then I'm going to press everything hard to make sure that they are going to stay put. This gives me some time to move things around, because this is the most difficult part with creating a composition, making sure that the balance, the color is nice and pleasing to the eye. So many times I need to move things around. Now, with what you have at home, you can definitely recreate this style of creating a canvas. So you can use two pattern papers, one on top of the other, create slits, do all the techniques that I did for the background, and then use ephemeras or cut out elements from your pattern papers as focal points to create a composition on one corner. And now you see it is finally time to use the ribbons. So now I know that I'm not going to cover them up, and I'm just adding some visual interest again by using those in different parts of the background. Now, in terms of composition, how I choose where to place them, I make sure that I play only around the main composition and on one corner. I just don't go ahead and add everything all over the place. I want the main part of the composition to stay quite empty. This is where I'm going to add my motivational quote later on. And as I am sticking down the rest of the ribbons that I have separated, I want to share some big news with you. I have a new collection coming out next month. I'm not going to share anything about it yet, it is a big secret, but I'm super excited about it. I think it is my best collection yet. Anyway, back to the project. I'm just trying to finish off with all the little ribbons that I have cut out. I want to use each and every one of them on my project. And as I'm looking at my flower composition at this stage, I'm thinking it's not very well balanced, so I'm just going to add one more flower bud in an area, thinking that this is going to make a big difference. Anyway, I'm going to move on and add my motivational quote. I always like to add something like that on my mixed media projects, whether they are a miniature journal, a double pager journal, a mixed media canvas. So I cut out the letters for the word focus, and I used my favorite alphabet die set with black cardstock, and then for the rest of my quote I went with my label maker. I'm going to make it smaller and stick it down, and the whole motivational quote reads focus on the good. And now it's time for the finishing touches. I'm bringing out my white gel pen. I'm going to outline the quote. I'm going to add some highlights on the letters, on the black letters. I will also add some white sketchy lines around some of the ephemera and the die cuts. And as I'm doing that, just a reminder, you will find a list with all the supplies that I'm using today down below in the description. And of course, if you are enjoying this type of videos, don't forget to leave me a comment and to like the video. It really helps. Now I'm going to use some white acrylic paint and a brush that I make sure that it is completely dry. I am going to use, this is a very stiff brush by the way, I'm going to use that and dab some acrylic paint over some of the elements. Just make sure that your brush isn't fully loaded with acrylic paint, and then lightly dab in different areas. If you do that, little detail on all the elements, not all over the place, just in some sides, it is kind of going to bring everything together. So you see I do that on some of the corners of the outside panel, I do that on the burlap, even on top of the letters. Just make sure that you don't overwhelm your project by dabbing with this technique. A few details here and there will do the trick. And as always, for the final step, I'm going to add some white splatters. I do that with white calligraphy ink, but you can definitely dilute white acrylic paint for that. So my canvas is ready. This goes up on my craft room wall for decoration. I'm absolutely happy with it. Here are some close-up photos where you can see the details better. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired, and until next time, stay safe.